Hey, everybody. Welcome back from the Twilight Zone. I guess you'd have to say driving this morning. It was like the Twilight Zone. First of all, I looked out of my window, out my back window of my house, and the people across the way, the houses were obliterated. They were gone. It was like there was nothing there. It was the fog, of course. And then driving, I had to come across Spillway Road, as did Lance this morning. You went there, what, 5 o'clock this morning, something like that?
Yes.
Well, it didn't seem like it was any much different, except it was daylight when I went. Well, daylight.
It was like driving with this mosquito net over your vehicle.
You were in the dark. I had daylight, but not much. But I could see the cars ahead of me. That was a good thing. But I couldn't see, like, once I passed the tower, you were really in the Twilight Zone, and we were slowing down. Like, why? Did we have an accident? You don't know. We didn't. It was just a lot of traffic. But even bad as it was over there, it was still bad in Ridgeland. It's been bad all over. So do be careful out there, and use your lights, please, on low beam if it's still out there. I mean, that's just the one thing that you can do that's so good. Well, we've got several things going on this morning. I'll give you a quick, brief update on some things. First of all, maybe we'll get in touch with them during the show. I don't know. ICE has arrested 12 illegals in Mississippi. And you hear everything about New York and Chicago. Like, I'm thinking, I know we got all these people here in Mississippi because the state auditor did that report and did a study a few months ago that we got like 20,000 plus, and it's costing us $109 million a year. Can you imagine that? So I figured, we're small potatoes. They won't get to us. Well, it turns out they arrested about 20 of them last week in Mississippi. ICE did. They're not saying the county or the city, town, but I think I know which ones they are, but that doesn't really matter. But what happened was they were taken to the Madison County Detention Center until their next transportation. And I'm hoping to find, maybe they'll get to us during the show, I'm hoping to find out information from the Madison County Sheriff's Department this morning to tell you just, what's going on with those people up there. The other thing is, remember, we have had the mayor of Gluckstadt and the mayor of Madison on the show to talk about this little tract of land that's between the two cities. It's on the northern side of Madison, on the southern side of Gluckstadt, and it's just sitting there. It's like a rectangular plot of land, I don't know, a few acres, and they both want it. So they've sued each other to get it. So it's going to trial next week. It's in Madison County, and I was so surprised. It's not county court or a bigger court. It's at the what's the lowest court?
Municipal?
No, okay, I don't have my glasses on here. I'm just so surprised. Chancery Court, the divorce court. So it's going on trial at the divorce court next week, and it's going to take, they think, about a month to get through this.
Might be as ugly as a divorce.
Geez, it might be, I guess. Anyway, so who knows what will happen there? And one city could get awarded for it. Maybe they could get an award where each get half of it, or nobody gets anything out of it. Maybe it stays the way it is, whatever it is, which is it's not developed or anything like that. But they both want it for their expansion, so that's a big deal. That's coming up February 3 in Chancery Court in Madison County. And the other thing that's quite fascinating is, do you remember back in 2016, the legislature passed a bill to create a regional board of directors for the Jackson Municipal Airport. And the governor at the time, Phil Bryant, signed it, and off we went, right? The airport, it's owned by the city of Jackson, but it's in Rankin County. And it got put over there because Jackson, they sold this little property to Jackson so they could serve liquor. I mean, that's what that was all about. But anyway, plus they needed the land. So now, but the city has been suing over this whole thing, saying it dilutes black voting strength. We have a board. What do we need you for? And all this kind of stuff. And there would be a number of people on a new board appointed by the governor, the mayors, and all this kind of stuff. So it's sort of like I think like the reservoir has, but those counties, each person has a member. Each surrounding county has a member on the reservoir board, is how that goes, so that the counties can have their say. Well, so cities and counties could have their say over the airport. They've taken it to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and they've about had it. They've said, the city has appealed many times, and they keep knocking it down. They've just had it. And so the Court of Appeals recently said something like this is like Groundhog Day. And you don't have any standing to do this, and you have to have standing to file suits, all that kind of stuff. And they say, we vacate the order of the district court, which got them into this one, and remand with instructions to dismiss. The court's like, we're done. We don't want to have anything more to do with this. So the question is, well, what happens next? Does it happen? Does this thing happen, or who knows what this is? And I just found this out about yesterday also when I found out about the illegals. And so It's a mess that shouldn't be a mess. It seems like it's time to get on with this. According to the court, it is time to get on. It's the law. You can get on with that. So we'll see what happens on there. I've not seen any reporting on either one of those stories, but I found them out. So anyway, now I've got in the studio a couple people who I think you'll really enjoy talking with. They're military people. They're with something called Fifth Squad, and we'll find out what that is. And they help people in the military, actives and retireds. And you can call us if you'd like at 888-808-8637. You can text us at 601-879-4395, and you can watch us online, supertalk.fm/Mary. You can see what we look like. That's why we have these cameras around here, guys. So let me welcome to the show Lee Stringer, Sergeant Major, active with the Mississippi National Guard, President and co-founder of Fifth Squad, and with him is John Watts. He's the Vice President of the squad. He's retired from the Army National Guard. I almost said an awful word. Army National Guard. Hey, I'm an Army brat. That's okay. And so anyway, I can't ask you this because it's political. Or I'm just saying, I'm very happy that Pete Hegseth made it, and boy, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes because he's got a lot of stuff to have to get through, with the military. What do you say? Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks
so,
for having us.
Tell me about what is the Fifth Squad? What is it? What do you do?
So, Fifth Squad, we started in 2016. Myself and 3 other Mississippi Army National Guardsmen. We started the organization because we wanted to be able to assist veterans in Mississippi with immediate needs. There's a lot of organizations out there across the state or across the country that help veterans, but a lot of times it's not immediate. So if your lights are getting cut off this afternoon, you're being evicted in 3 days, or you don't have groceries on your table tonight, those organizations can help you, but it could be weeks, months, who knows, with all the government red tape, all that type of stuff. So we want to start a nonprofit that does exactly that. So
you guys are ready to go. I mean, if anything happens, right? I mean, you got your bags ready. If somebody calls and says, "Hey, help," you ready? Are you right? Is that so? John's Vice President again and retired from the Guard. So you ready to go if somebody said,
I would go back tomorrow if I could.
Well, but yeah, there are reasons. You can enumerate why you're not, because you don't look old enough to be retired, but you are retired from the Guard. You had some experiences.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And deployments?
Made 3 to Iraq myself. Few head injuries over the last 20 years.
Good Lord. Oh.
We're getting him a helmet.
Yes, absolutely. Got to get a helmet. Well, I'm amazed that, like people adults ride around on like 3-wheelers and stuff and go hot riding around. There was an attorney by the name of Precious Martin who was riding around on a 3-wheeler, and he lived in the hoity-toity place in Madison County. I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, he was riding around.
Avondale?
No, hoitier.
Oh.
Hoitier than that. Okay. But you know which one.
Thinking.
No, there's another one.
Union and Avondale.
No. Well, anyway, it's very hoity-toity. Yeah. So hoity-toity, we can't even say the name. But anyway, so he was riding around on this thing, and he hit a bump in the road, fell off, and died instantly. Didn't have a helmet, so. And I was telling them, the late Bert Case was a helmet user. He started riding a bike years ago, and he decided that he should protect his head. Okay, so one day, it's a good thing he did, because one day he was riding. He used to ride 20 minutes every morning. At 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd have his radio in his pocket, and he'd listen to news on his morning ride to find out what's going on. But anyway, a dog chased him in Audubon Point, where we lived, and it made him crash into a ditch, but it was a grassy ditch, but nevertheless, he did get a broken collarbone, but his head was fine. And he's like, fine, that's okay, as long as my head is okay. And I see adults and kids going around on these little scooters. Man, it's crazy. It's wear a helmet. I know it sounds like, you want to wear a helmet, but yes, you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Protect your head. So did Lee and the people help you when you had your most recent?
If it wasn't for them, my wife and my dad, I don't know where I would be at the moment.
Wow,
so.
What happened? It was a little scooter? One of those little...
Electric scooter that you rent when you're in a big city.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't remember a whole lot, but I woke up in the hospital.
We went to a conference, for a nonprofit conference, and we were coming home that evening, and John decided to ride a scooter back to the Airbnb, and he squeezed the wrong brake at the wrong time, and he face planted. But fortunately, Pete, as you had mentioned earlier, was with him, and he called an ambulance, and he got him to the hospital, and he was out of it for about 24 to 36 hours. I'd say he was out of it pretty good, but then He's about back to normal now. You can tell him something today and he won't remember it tomorrow. But we write stuff down for him. So.
Well, that's good. Well, I had a fall at my house. It was a year ago in November. I don't remember it. I have no recollection of falling. I was very, very weak anyway, very anemic, and I just had felt terrible all fall, terrible in the summertime and all this kind of stuff. So I was out of it, and I got taken to the ER, and my friends were asking the people there, is she going to be okay upstairs? Is she going to be, is she going to be herself? Is she going to be like dim-capped, diminished capacity, or what is she going to be? And they said, we don't know. That was awful. And I don't remember 2 weeks of my life. I have no recollection. I was in the ER for 2 weeks, only time in my life. Well, I did fall. I had a horse years ago, and I slid off of her and went into a slight, well, they say it was a coma, slight coma for a brief period of time, but I don't remember the incident. I don't remember landing. I don't remember telling the EMTs they couldn't touch me unless my friend said it was okay, and I wouldn't get in the ambulance unless my friend I was riding with. Oh, but anyway, and it was the Gulf War, and I knew about the Gulf War, and so she had to call Bert to say that Mary fell off of her horse, and she's going to the hospital. I'm with her, and he's thinking, oh my God, that I was going to be out of it, but he didn't know that I was up on the war. And my friend said, now when you see Bert, you tell him about that war. So I don't. As the story goes, we got to the hospital, and I'm going, now let me tell you about the war, and he's like, oh my God, she's lost it. But anyway, the mind does I guess a good thing, don't you think, John? Maybe, some things you just don't need to know about, I think.
That's correct.
But you've had a lot of therapy, I'm sure.
I actually didn't have to have any surgeries.
I didn't either. Wow.
The neurosurgeon told me in October, this happened in September, October, he said, I've never seen anybody heal as fast as you have with this type of injury.
Wow.
So, very blessed.
Were you in the area, or were you out of state?
Indianapolis.
Oh, so they had good medical people up there. Apparently so.
Apparently so.
Apparently they did. Yeah. And how long were you up there before you came back home?
Well, I think around 5 days, give or take.
Do you remember coming home and all that?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any point in going back trying to figure it out because, things, it's like, okay, fine, it happened.
I've let it go.
Yeah, I have to. You just have to. But we're glad we're okay upstairs in the head.
Ma'am.
So they had fifth graders to help you. Well, yes, you did.
Well, yes, we were all there as an organization, so of course we were there to help.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Fifth Squad, yes, ma'am.
Well, what's the significance of that name, Fifth Squad?
There's 4 squads in a typical military formation. Then you normally have a group of people in the back of the formation. We call them a gag or whatever, but it's usually people that don't want to be in the formation, but they're still part of it. And that's kind of how we came up with the name Fifth Squad, because we are all veterans. Some of us currently serving, some of us retired. So we still have that military connection, but we don't want the government telling us how we can and can't assist our fellow veterans.
And how do you get the funds to exist?
So we do a lot of fundraising.
Yes.
We have a lot of great sponsors like Milwaukee Tool, Keysville Federal Credit Union, a lot of great sponsors around this area as well. But we do a lot of fundraisers. That's where our main stuff comes in because we work hard. We're not like a lot of other nonprofits. We're doing fundraisers just about every other week.
Wow.
We have a big one coming up this weekend.
Oh, okay.
We have like a block-size yard sale that we've had, about 1,000 square foot building full of furniture and clothes and decorations and everything that's been donated to us. We're going to have it Saturday morning in Pearl at our headquarters off of El Dorado. You can find all that information on our website or our Facebook page. And we'll be open from about 8 o'clock that morning to about 2 in the afternoon. And anything you can imagine we'll have there. So that's going to be a huge fundraiser for us.
Gosh, that's amazing. I don't know what your as long as you've given out, what's your website?
Our website is just www.fifthsquad.org, and it's the number 5th squad.
SQUAD.
Yes, ma'am. .org.
.org. Okay.
And it's the same thing on our Facebook, just Fifth Squad, or Instagram. You can find us there as well.
Okay. I don't do Facebook, but I do Instagram. That's for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't. I think maybe I'll change my mind if what's his name. is decent. As anyway, somebody said, by the way, about Mark Zuckerberg, because I always felt he was kind of such a dictator that I didn't want to join Facebook, but he seems to have kind of chilled out about that stuff, hopefully. And then somebody said, yeah, well, maybe he's quit cutting his own hair, so because he looks pretty ragged at the inauguration. But anyway, so how much money are you looking to raise, you think?
Well, so the way we assist veterans is with the immediate financial assistance. So we have a goal of about $10,000 or $15,000 this weekend, and I think with what we have, if we have a good showing, we will definitely raise that. And whatever we have left over, we're going to donate to Ever Reaching Community Outreach out of Pelahatchie, I believe. It's another nonprofit organization that has a shop that you can come and get clothes and food and all types of stuff. So whatever we have left over, we're going to donate it to them.
What's their name?
Ever Reaching Community
EVE.
Outreach. Yes, ma'am. ERCO.
Did not ever hear of them either.
Oh, they're great. They're awesome people, and we try to work with a lot of organizations around the area to make sure we can all support each other.
Here I am, an Army brat, a military brat. I don't even know these things.
That's all
but
right.
Anyway, yeah, well, that's wonderful. We've done a lot of things with Vietnam veterans. I imagine you do too.
Yes, ma'am. The majority of the people we assist are from that era.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Really? What about Gulf War people?
We do the same, but it's usually the older generation that we that find themselves. It's a lot of PTSD that have caused them to be put in the situation they're in. So we're able to. That's primarily who we get contacted through, whether it be directly or through the VA or VFW, American Legion, Red Cross, you name it.
Were you deployed?
Yes, ma'am. I've been deployed twice.
Where?
So I went to Afghanistan in 2002. And then I was in Kuwait in 2018-19.
Wow. Had things changed much in those intervening years?
Quite a bit. I can tell you we went from 2002 to not having anything as much as a Porta-John to 2018 to having a Starbucks. So it's a little different. But it was also a different area. I mean, Afghanistan is a lot different than Kuwait. So
I've been told that Afghanistan... people think that it's all about the main city. Well, no, it's really not. It's a bunch of caves and valleys and stuff. Like if I live on this mountain over here and you live on that mountain over there, we may even speak different languages, stuff like that. We'll come back and talk more about that. It's time for a break. It's Mary Wieden You. We're talking with the guys from 5th Squad. Stay with us. I was just telling them a Bert Case story. It's the 9th anniversary of his death, for God's sakes. It's just hard to believe that it's that long because everybody thinks, well, it's just couple of years, maybe, not so long. Well, after he did the Kirk Fordyce story, which, of course, is famous, worldwide famous, Bert got an assignment to go cover the governor speaking someplace. And so when the governor came out of the door of the place, Bert said, "Governor, I got a question for you." And the governor said, "Oh, Bert, why don't you just go interview yourself?" Sorry, his photographer wasn't rolling. But, I mean, it was no animosity. It was Bert reported a news story. That's what it was. I mean, you don't... it's not like lawfare or anything like that. Nobody didn't have it in for him, for heaven's sakes, but it was a story. He did a story. Anyway, I've got the folks from Fifth Squad, and it turns out you all have been all over the place, and I didn't know about you. You've done a lot of things. Like tell me about and so I've got Lee Stringer, by the way, Sergeant Major, active duty with the Guard, co-founder of Fifth Squad, and John Watts, vice president, and he is retired now from the squad. And so, but tell me about all the stuff, especially this thing for the kids' hospital. What you did, that was great.
So we recently conducted our 9th annual Ruck for Rugrats, which is a big event that we benefit children of Mississippi Hospital.
Walk for Rugrats.
Ruck.
Oh, Ruck
So
for
a
Rugrats.
ruck is a backpack that the military
that's a German
carries.
word. Ja, Rucksack. Jawohl, das ist Deutsch.
Yeah.
You know what a Sitzstock is?
I'm not familiar. I probably forgot that one. I don't remember that
That's
one.
a sitting. It's a cane with a seat in it.
Oh, okay,
A
gotcha.
sitting sit stick. But anyway,
Okay,
rucksack.
I have to get one of those. So what we do is we start at the Veterans Memorial Stadium that JSU plays, and we walk around Jackson, go down by Smith Wheels, come up around LaFleur's Bluff, and then we come back across Woodrow Wilson to the hospital. We have Jeep clubs, the military supports it. We have Touch a Truck where they're bringing military vehicles out there so the kids can come down from the hospital and get in the vehicles. And this year we had over 600 participants and about $220,000 worth of toys donated to the hospital. So,
well, hooray for you guys.
Yeah, this year we're excited about the one in December of this year. It's going to be huge. It's our 10th year. We're expecting over 1,000 people. So we're pretty excited about that. But like you said, we do stuff all over the place all the time. Since 2018, when we initially started assisting veterans, we've assisted over about 3,500 veterans in Mississippi to the tune of about $320,000 in assistance.
Wow. Do you ever build houses for them? Practically.
No, well, what we do, our program is immediate assistance, like we mentioned earlier. So we don't have the staff to do that. We only have one employee, and she stays wide open all the time, paying bills for veterans. Because what we want to do is, it takes a lot of pride for someone to ask for help, especially when they got to that point.
Yep.
So especially imagine adding a veteran to that part. Somebody that served their country, and now they're having to ask for somebody to help pay a $200 light bill that they just can't afford. And that's what we do. As long as they served honorably, we get a copy of that bill, and we pay that bill directly, and we say thank you for your service and move on.
Wow.
It's not something that we don't want them to have to go back and forth to explain, this and that.
Yep.
We assist.
Just no explanation. Just it
That's
is,
right.
and
We
here you
thank
are.
you for your service, and
Yep.
here's how we can help repay that. We're a one-time assistance per year, and up to 3 times over a lifetime.
Wow.
We're a hand up, not a handout. So
What are you going to do in December? Have you figured this one out, John?
for the ruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ruck for Rugrats.
Yeah, you get more people. You're going to do the same thing, but you want people to participate in that?
Oh, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
shoot, come on, audience.
The more the merrier.
Yes,
That's right.
Absolutely.
We have music. We've got a great DJ that comes out there. He's actually lieutenant colonel in the guard, but he's got a DJ DJ fixation. But he comes out there and plays music for us the whole time, and then we'll have food trucks, and it's a great time. And then, of course, the biggest part of it, the best part of it, is walking up to the hospital, seeing the children waiting on you, being able to bless a family that's stuck in the hospital over the holidays, and being able to help them out, because Children's Mississippi tells us that that's about 90% of the donations they get for the whole year comes from that one event.
Wow. And where do you get the toys that you're going to bring?
That's a great question. We set up an online Amazon account that's provided for the toys, are provided a list of them from the hospital, what they need, and people that show up, they participate, they bring their toys with them.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have trailers and trucks and Army vehicles full of toys.
Wow. And you say for Children's Hospital, that's lasts for the whole year.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. What else do you do? Then that's as if that's, there must be.
John.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, we do a few golf tournaments throughout the year that help us raise money to support veterans.
Yeah. Where do you do the tournaments?
Well, we have Campbell Scramble at Castle Woods. We have Veterans Cup at Bay Point, both in Rankin County.
These guys are Rankin County people.
Yeah, we also, those are the fundraisers that we do, like John mentioned, because we're always having to bring money in because of what our organization does.
Yeah.
We're always encouraging people to sign up as a monthly donor. I mean, you could think about a cup of coffee costs you at least $5, but imagine what you could do for a veteran if you just donated that $5 a month. But our main program is what we call our quick reaction funds, and that's how we respond immediately to assist someone. But we also have other programs. We show up when the Guard is deploying, or when they're coming home, we support them there. Like most recently, when we had the MPs leave to go for the inauguration, we showed up that morning and fed them donuts and energy drinks by one of our sponsors. Waze Energy is a veteran-owned company also. We gave snacks and all that kind of stuff because, cops love donuts, so we made sure that they had plenty of those. But we also open up our headquarters every other Thursday night to host veterans, to host civilians, to host our business partners to come in. We cook, we play cornhole at our headquarters in Pearl off of El Dorado.
Okay.
So we're hope to having a ribbon cutting on March 6th, and so we're going to have that night. We'll have the grill fired up and have some music, some live music, and just entertain folks. But really, it's about the camaraderie, so that other veterans can hang out with each other, especially guys that are no longer in. They can talk to some of the other veterans that are still currently serving and kind of just exchange stories and have that bond that they so severely miss.
Do you ever help them get companion dogs or therapy dogs, especially the PTSDs? Do you help them do that, or
well,
is that
we've
kind of
had people
beyond?
contact us. Yes, ma'am. We've had people contact us, and we refer them to other organizations just because that's not something that we're capable of doing it, ourselves. But we do have a lot of partners that we refer to.
Yeah. So what a great camaraderie, and you serve all the military branches. It's not just Army.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you prefer Army. But you do Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, etc., Marines.
Yes, ma'am. All branches of service. The only thing we ask is that you completed your initial enlistment. If you signed up, like you said with Bert, he signed up for 3 years. He did those 3 years and got out honorably, or if you're currently serving. Those are the only requirement we have.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
So come on, folks. We're at 888-808-8637. I know you don't call, but you might like to shout a question or a comment at 601-879-4395. That's 601-879-4395. And of course, don't forget you can watch us supertalk.fm/Mary. Let me see what's on the well, let's see. Where's the thing here? Oh, here it is. We got a comment here. What is somebody saying from Andy and Jackson? Oh, it's not about the military though. It's about old Bert. We miss Bert also, Mary. Never forgotten. Well, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't realize that he was in the Air Force. People didn't realize he was a veteran.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. He would love to have learned to fly in the Air Force. He did ROTC in high school at Murrah, and he did ROTC at Ole Miss. And then when he graduated, he got his commission. And he wanted to learn to fly. He had a buddy in the BOQ who was a helicopter pilot, and he was trying to hover one day. That was a bit of a joke. Do either of you fly, by the way? Well, no,
we fly as passengers.
I wouldn't have to wear a helmet.
They don't let us get behind.
I didn't have to wear a helmet when I was in the helicopter, which I should have. Now that I found out that those helicopters that we use for Skycopter and for the police thing, that's the number one death and fatality and crash helicopter in the FAA, by the way. That's what I found out. Kobe was in a Sikorsky, which was number 18 on the FAA list of dangerous ones. Well, number 1 was that one. We didn't wear helicopters. But anyway, he would have had to stay in for another year to be a pilot. And much as he loved aviation and all that, he decided, I'd rather get going on my career.
I think it worked out for him.
Things certainly did work out, didn't they? Anyway, so what are you going to, you all stay so busy. How do you have time to, do your work, live your lives?
I think this is our life. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, that Fifth Squad is not like a lot of other nonprofits. John and I are best friends. Our children are friends. Like, it's family. Our board is different.
How many people on the board, and how many members do you have?
So we have 16 board members. Yes, ma'am, across the state of Mississippi. We just started a new chapter in Tennessee.
Wow.
We're assisting veterans in Tennessee as well. That we have 2 members that live in North Mississippi that run that chapter. But we're all family. We spend a lot of time together, a lot of holidays. We travel together. It's just a family environment. So we're able to get more work out of each other because we like being around each other all the time. So it works out.
I won't get political with you because you're not political people. But I will say, do you? Let's see. Were you busier in the last 4 years, and do you find help coming? Well, you're not asking for government money, though.
No.
But do you see that that government is going to do, and in the past did a better job for veterans in certain circumstances than others?
From myself, I've been in for a little over 24 years. I feel like it has gradually gotten better over the years as far as government assistance for veterans and programs. I wouldn't necessarily, say whether it's the political aspect of it or anything like that. And as far as the request for assistance, that just depends on how the economy is, I think, at that time as well. But none of that matters to us. I mean, we receive what we call a DD form 214, and that's your statement of service, and that's all we know. That you served your country. That we don't know any political affiliation, any race, anything like that. We just know that you're a veteran, you served your country, and we want to help.
And that's good. That's absolutely wonderful.
Ma'am.
I think that's pretty terrific. How many people do you think belong? Or sign up and say, hey, I want to be a part of it. Is there any way to know that? Or is it just people donating? Or how do you keep track of that?
Well, as far as people signing up, they go through a process that lasts about 6 months to become a board member for us. I signed one up last week, I believe it was. And if he helps and he does what he's supposed to do, he will become a board member.
If you don't want to be a board member, but you just want to be a part of it, we could all just be a part of it just by being out here. But to actually be a part of it and say, hey, you can call on me if you need me for stuff.
That's right. Yeah. If we have, you can sign up to be a volunteer through our website, or if you want to be a donor, you can sign up through our website. We're actually about to open up our new website starting on Thursday. We're pretty excited about that.
The one that you gave us?
Yes, ma'am. We're remodeling it. We have one of our members that's a great IT guy. He's sharp. You don't want to talk to him in person because he's kind of weird. but he's great behind a computer
His
screen.
name is Lee Stringer.
You're right. That's possible also. But no, but in all seriousness, we talk to our donors a lot. We talk to our volunteers a lot because we wouldn't be able to do what we do if we didn't have a ton of volunteers, especially when you think about putting on a golf tournament where we have, 25 teams. You need tons of volunteers, and we can't do that with 15 board members and a couple of spouses. We have to have a lot of help, and that's one of the things the community really supports Fifth Squad. 2 years ago, we were named by Governor Reeves as the #1 veterans charity in Mississippi, and
wonderful.
We're hoping to be in the running this year again for the Give Award. So it's because of that, because people believe in our organization, believe in our transparency, believe in our mission. So we have a lot of support.
Guys, thanks an awful lot. We're out of time. We're going to do one more segment with the audience. And what event do you have coming up, first of all? A golf tournament or whatever? You got that one coming up?
Yard sale.
Oh, the yard sale. Yeah. Do that one. Okay. Then to find out about it, it's www.fifthsquad.org.
Yes, ma'am.
The number 5th.org. And people can get some more information on that.
That's right.
So that'll
yes,
be
ma'am.
pretty
Or
cool.
social media, Facebook.
Yes, and Instagram.
Yes, ma'am. And
we
Instagram.
like Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, guys, and good luck.
You. Thanks for
I hope
having
you come
us.
back sometime.
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Be back in a minute. Well, I have just dropped something on the floor, and I have to find my flashlight so I can see what it is that I dropped. Oh, nothing important, just the mouse.
Oh, yeah, we can live without that for a few minutes.
What the heck, Well, I'll have to. But anyway.
One day we'll just be able to think it, and it will happen.
Yeah.
We will just say, move, cursor, and it'll move.
I want to have the kind of Google glass. Is it Google? Somebody's
The
glasses.
glass ones, yeah.
The glasses where you
Meta, you got the Meta.
no, where you can. Well, actually, you can video stuff on
That's the
through
guy
your
that
glasses.
got caught,
Is it Meta?
on the sidelines.
Oops.
The Connor Stallions. He was wearing the Google glasses, recording stuff, and cheating.
Yeah. Well, but I found it. Yes.
At least that was the accusation.
Yes. Well, there's so many things to follow up on, really, that that I talked about earlier at the beginning of the show, like this business about the airport. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals said, "Oh, please, stop
Again?
it. Stop
Are
it.
we doing this
You don't
again?"
have standing. Stop it. Stop it, city. Just." We vacate the order of the district court and we remand with instructions to dismiss. They said, just get on with the whole thing. The whole thing, folks, if you don't know, is back in 2016, the legislature passed a bill signed by Governor Phil Bryant that created a regional board of directors for the Jackson Municipal. It's the Jackson Medgar Wiley Evers Airport, International Airport. Anyway, for the airport.
There's some comments about diluting the black vote and all that.
That's why they filed lawsuit.
One thing I wanted to mention, it just seems odd that given that that's the predominant airport for the state of Mississippi, that we're going to play racial politics when it comes down time to get people from A to B.
Well, you don't screen airlines for any kind of racial matters, do you? You don't screen the pilots. You don't screen attendants. You don't screen passengers. Come on, folks. And, you're the biggest one in the state, and it should look and be a great airport. And I have not been out there in years, and I hear it's basically...
I've been
recently.
I've never been to an airport like Jackson's, and I would just leave it at that.
Yeah, because there's nothing there. I'll tell you the airport that I guess they were proud of themselves. It was at it was at Butte, Montana. No, it wasn't Butte, Montana. It was someplace out there. But anyway, on one of my ski trips, we couldn't get into DIA in Denver, so we had to go someplace else for a while because it was foggy or something, blizzard or whatever. And it was this little folding chair affair, and some people from town came out with it was awful burritos in the morning. Oh,
breakfast burritos. Oh, yeah.
No, it was bad stuff. I think it was locally made. It was bad stuff. No wonder I had a rough time in my stomach that night with between elevation and altitude sickness, and then that below it. But anyway, no, our airport here should be a good airport. We're a municipal airport. It's, like you said, the biggest one in the country. We're in the South,
and
in the emerging South, and all this kind of stuff.
But it serves more than just black people whose votes that you're trying to. It's
not about
such
that.
A political hot potato when it's a matter of, do airlines want to come in here? And do people want to go to
I'm amazed that they do, and I'm happy that they do. I'm happy that happens.
You kind of want to keep that, right?
Yes.
There were all kind of issues over time with Southwest and this.
They came back. I think they're expecting good things. Well, now
consistency is the best way to look at
it. The city puts about 4 people on the board, 4 or 5 people on the board. Well, this this airport authority regional board, okay, here's what it would be. It would be 9 members. It would be the Adjutant General of the Guard, or somebody designated. It would be the Executive Director of the Mississippi Development Authority, or somebody they would designate. 1 commissioner appointed by the mayor of the city of Jackson, 1 by the city council, by the Board of Supervisors of Madison County, Board of Supervisors of Rankin County, and then 2 commissioners appointed by the governor, and 1 appointed by the lieutenant governor. I noticed they don't have Hinds County in there, but let's not make a mess out of this. But I mean, after all the places in Rankin County, so you would say, but it'd be kind of like the reservoir. It's people who touch it, who are nearby, and people, and supposedly, I remember,
all have skin in the game too.
I remember reading that back then that the members of the board should have some sort of familiarity anyway with the airport and airline industry, and I'm thinking, people like me who used to fly around an airport in a helicopter would be, be qualified. We used to, by the way, we'd fly around in a helicopter. We'd fly around sometimes if we were watching them constantly for years, working on one of the strips. I guess it finally got finished, but we'd see them up in there and they'd wave at us sometimes. But anyway, we need to have it, make it big, make it important, make it impressive, make a good impression on people when they come to Jackson, Mississippi. We got big companies here. We got Amazon, for heaven's sakes. They would send people in here. And we've got the Nissan people, Continental Tire people, and God only knows what all else we got coming into mostly Madison County, apparently, seems to be doing all this kind of stuff. But, and by the way, speaking of that, that's the home of Costco. I hear that Costco is rebelling against getting rid of DIA. They like it. I mean, yes, DIA is the airport. Airport designation for dinner. Yeah, getting rid of DEI. It's they don't want to do that. I'm thinking, Donna, how does that help you out in Madison County with that? How's that working for you out there? And people go out there all the time. I have people friends who buy gas out there for their cars, and they get back a big rebate check every year. That's pretty cool. Kind of be worth putting an extra mile or 2 on your car to go out there. But anyway, come on, Costco. I don't belong to it. I don't belong to Sam's either, by the way. It's like, if I'm going to pay money to go to a store to pay money, it doesn't work. I mean, do you belong to any of those?
No.
I did belong to Sam's, and so
back in the day, we
had
friends that had a Sam's card.
Well, a couple of years ago, I came across my Sam's card, and I didn't see a date of expiration, so I called and I asked, "Is my card still good?" And the lady goes, "No, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go get a new one." I said, "Well, you'd be pleased to know that the one I went to, the store that I used to go to and that I would go to, has columns on the outside because it's in Madison." And I explained, "Columns? Yes, it has columns. All businesses have columns in Madison as their building codes and all that kind of stuff require." But anyway, so we'll have to see now what happens with this airport if they're free to get going on stuff. Good stuff for our news department to check out, don't you think, Lance?
Oh yeah.
Come on, JT, check this one out. Find out about this. If the court has concluded that we're not going to do this anymore, for heaven's sakes.
Well, it seems to me like the court. Yeah, court seems to be exhausted.
They are. They're sick of it. They've had like
trivial and frivolous.
Groundhog Day.
If they don't see the value in it.
No, they don't.
And they have made that statement several times. It's time to get this thing rolling in the right direction. Get a board established that's going to govern the airport in a way that is congruent with the needs of Mississippians, all Mississippians, and move on. I mean, this is an old, stale argument that needs to get over with.
They say, here's something from the court. This suit is nothing more than a political dispute between state and local governments over control of an airport and the land around it. One side has dragged that fight into federal court by tricking it out in equal protection colors. That won't fly. Okay? So, I mean,
there's more serious issues that Jackson needs to be dealing with,
really,
in which I have the honor to ride along with JPD and learn. And I will say that I would think there's probably 10 or 12 other issues that are way more pressing to solve than to spend your life in court over something like that. Crime
might be one of them.
Could be.
And by the way, congratulations for JPD for finding the guy who killed 3 people at that nightclub. 3-4 years ago?
They're working hard. I tell you. I mean, each time that I get an opportunity to be around Jackson police officers and the leadership, these folks live in their communities. They care. It's a tough job. They catch them and they round them up, but somebody's got to keep them.
Yeah.
But I will say that Chief Wade is sharp intelligent, and from the heart as you're going to meet. And the people that he surrounds himself with are no different.
Yep.
And down to the captains and the sergeants. I'm just very impressed with the people that I get to engage in those departments, and they work hard. They're good people, and they're dealing with a job that's is very
awful.
difficult.
It's awful. Even things you think are simple are the worst of them all. And by the way, this has always been this way, I think. But like domestic disputes, you wouldn't think, well, that's what is that? Oh, that's the worst of them all.
It's the most common, and it's the worst. And you have to have backup going into those situations, because in many cases you'll have the person that made the call that is, threatened or fearful.
Right.
By the time the police get there, they're against the police now.
Yeah,
so you've got to keep one over here and one over there, and so it's a dangerous entity to deal with those types of disturbances. And the other that I've learned a great deal about is the homeless problem here, in that most of them are not from Jackson. They're coming here. They're adding more strain to a strained system. There are entities here in the city that have tried to do the good works of taking care and cleaning and feeding, but it's creating a system where those folks are getting on a bus and coming here.
Where are they coming from?
They're coming from all
over the place.
Yeah. And then you have the number of burned out houses in Jackson. It will break your heart, because these are not homeowners that are going in there and starting a fire in their living room to get a insurance payment. This is homeless folks that are looking for a warm place, and they find wood and go in there and try to stay warm, or cook up meth or whatever they're doing. I mean, I've had conversations. Locke Ward talks to a good number. I mean, again, this is something he and I and others have been learning a lot, but it just puts an extraordinary strain on an already strained system to continue importing criminals into a system where there is no place for them.
Have you seen and been around when police have been dealing with teenagers? Oh, we got to go.
We got 55 seconds, so you can finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say that's got to be hard too, because you're seeing teenagers who should not be in the situation that they're in. They shouldn't be in trouble and all this kind of stuff.
We got to do more at 12, 13, and 14 with workforce development in these inner city schools, providing technical training, welding, pipe fitting, those types of things. Because without that, these kids are going to fall right into the course that their predecessors
They need leadership in their houses and homes, and that's the hard part, isn't it?
Yes, it's not an easy solution to any of it.
It's hard. Well, all righty. So Friday we've got Andy Gibson's coming in. We're going to talk about the Dixie National. Yay! All right. See you then. Bye.